we have been talking about skin. We're in the integumentary system. And we're to a point now where we are going to talk about burns. And burns can be produced by heat, electricity, radioactivity, corrosive chemicals. And in every case, what happens is you get a damage to proteins, denaturing of proteins. So what is the effect? We had said we have all these functions of the skin, and when you destroy the skin or damage it, severely damage it by burn, well, obviously, these are the things that are going to be disrupted. So we had said that one of the functions of skin is to hold the water in, right? We had talked about how keratin is a waterproofing, and we've got this oil that's a waterproofing, and the skin is a barrier that holds water in. Well, when you remove the barrier because of a burn, you can lose lots of water. So water is water homeostasis, or maintenance of water and salt balance. This is one of the consequences of a severe burn. We had said skin provides a protection against infection, right? Well, you remove the skin, you have a problem with infections. We had said skin is there as a reservoir, a storage site for blood, reduced blood circulation. Okay, so then this next one, we're on slide 17. So if you're playing along with your slides, and I hope you are, if you're playing along with your slides, we're halfway down, and we'd said reduced blood circulation. After all, a lot of the blood is in the skin. And then we see decreased urine output. Now, we said that urea and uric acid are present in sweat, but we're not talking about that now. Think about that first point. I'd said loss of water. Well, it ends up to produce urine, you have to have blood pressure to filter out the waste products. Well, if you lose water, you reduce blood pressure, and so this has an effect on your ability to filter out waste products. And then we had said, what is that Langerhans cell? We had said it does two different things. It helps to kill the bad guys, phagocytize the pathogens, and stimulate other parts of the immune system. So that second thing, we say a diminished immune response. So we've reduced those Langerhans cells, so we don't have as strong an immune response. Now, everyone knows, we all hear this on TV, right? We all hear this on TV, that you have first, second, and third degree burns, right? But what are they? So a first degree burn is like a sunburn. And so we're moving ahead, slide number 18. A first degree burn is epidermis only. And because of this class, you know what that is, right? So it's only that it doesn't involve any of your capillaries. It's just that outer, 4 or 5 layers of keratinized epithelial cells. And, we all know it's painful. There are no blisters with the first degree burn. And it heals in a few days. It's not that big a deal. It's a sunburn is an example of a first degree burn. Now, second degree burns. They are also known as a partial thickness burn. So when we talk about the layers of skin, we had said that we have the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis, or subcutaneous layer. So when we talk about a second degree burn, it's down into the dermis. So it's, part way. It has damaged more than just your epidermis. It's down into the dermis. And so it's called a partial thickness burn. And so it involves the epidermis and parts of the dermis. It produces blisters and swelling and pain, and it can take weeks to heal. I'm trying to see if you can see it. I have a patch of pigment here, right here on my shoulder. When I was in graduate school, and I should have one here too, on this side too. When I was in graduate school, I was working in the field of marine biology, and I remember it was like March, and so I was out in a boat, and I had on a t-shirt, and I was doing some work with, animals collected from the bottom of the sea, and I thought, I know I'm gonna roll up my sleeves like this so that it's not just my arms that get tan, it's my shoulders too. Bad idea. I ended up with these horrible blisters it was like a wound. It was one of these second-degree burns, one of these partial thickness burns, and it's left a discolored patches on both of my shoulders literally 30 years later. And it took weeks. It took weeks for it to heal up. Okay, what about a third-degree burn? I mean, we don't have a picture. I mean, third-degree burns are awful. It's where it takes everything. You lose all of the skin. It's not a partial thickness burn. It is a full thickness burn. So it destroys the epidermis, the dermis, the hypodermis, and all of the dermal derivatives. There's complete loss of skin function, and the skin, if it does come back, it's highly discolored. Usually you have to have plastic surgery. I had a student in my class a few years back who had a horrible burn as a child, and she shared with the class stories that as she grew up, she would have to have surgery because the fibroid tissue that replaced the skin didn't stretch the way normal skin. Skin would sort of grow with you, but this was not skin that she had on her body, and so she had to have surgeries throughout life to make her skin bigger. Yeah, it's not good. And so it oftentimes requires skin grafting or, pulling in skin from one location to another location to replace it. All right, so oftentimes, if you're watching the news or something, you see a story and it talks about a firefighter or a person who was caught in a fire, and they'll say they had first and second degree burns over 36% of their body. And you might think, what'd they do, measure them? No, they didn't measure. There's a way to come up with an estimate. It's called the rule of nines, not the rule of eights. Remember, that was something else, dealing with molecules, but the rule of nines. And so what it means is if your entire head is burned, it's 4% front side, 4.5% front side, 4.5% back side, 9%. Your anterior, your front side of your body, your anterior trunk, 18%. Posterior side of your trunk, 18%. You get the idea. Your lower legs, 36%. It's all factors of 9, except for your private parts, and that's 1%. So it's a quick way of estimating how much of the body is burned. It's through the use of the rule of nines. All right, we're going to talk about skin cancers as our last topic next time.